All right, we are recording.
We have another minute or so to just wait for a few more people. So I'm going to just give you all a couple of things in the chat just for you to look at on your own time. If you are new to WebEx, this is our state mandated program, and we do have a WebEx participant guide that could give you some tips if you're having trouble with anything. So I'm going to put that in the chat as well for you. We are going to be recording and live streaming today. Feel free to use the chat for any questions that you have. We will be a little bit interactive today, so be sure that you know where that chat button is. And we also have the slide deck for you to follow along, or just come back to these slides later if you'd like. All right, it is 2 o'clock. Welcome everyone. We are so excited to have you here for our spring arts coordinators meeting. So happy, like we just said, to have you all here with us today. Just a note again that we will be recording this webinar today, posting it to our webinar archive. We are live streaming to YouTube. You can also click on that bit.ly that we just shared in the chat to follow along with your slide deck. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Brandon for our welcoming activity.
All right, so today we are going to do something a little bit different, and we are going to break out into 4 breakouts. Christy, I'm really glad to see that you're already cracking up. I really hope that's at me. We are going to do some Mad Libs as a group. Sayward is going to share a link into the chat, and we are going to break, as I said, into 4 breakout rooms, and do definitely keep track of which breakout room you are in. And you and the other 5 participants in your group are going to be able to come up with the parts of speech that are going to be put into our Mad Lib. Somebody raised their hand. I don't know if they meant to, but if you have a question, please go ahead and put it into the chat, and we will be back. I'm going to give you 90 seconds to come up with your words. There's only either 4 or 5 words, so do pay attention to which breakout room you're in. Sayward, are you assigned to a breakout room? I did not get assigned, so.
No, and there's still a few people still in our...
So I'm looking at it and it says they're not in our session, and I don't know if that means they like logged in and then logged back out. But yeah. You know, I said I was going to give them 90 seconds, but I think as soon as I hit end all breakout sessions, it gives another 60 seconds. So, okay. I'm going to join. Someone's asking for help.
Okay. Jose, Kimberly, Nate, are you all in this group still?
Yeah, I'm in here. I'm a conscientious objector to icebreakers. So
perfect. You're awesome. No problem.
And I'm eating something.
You got it. You all are in our group then. You're good. You get to listen.
All right. Nate, do you want to go play Mad Libs?
No, he's objecting.
Okay.
Man after my own heart.
It's so funny. Yep. Recording.
It's cool, so right? Like I love watching the Regis and Kathy Lee thing. I just don't. I don't need to be in the studio audience. So
So I'm realizing that the live stream broke when I just went into the other session. So Sayward, I do think that the recording is still happening. So what we will do is we'll just upload the recording later.
Okay. All right. Is it time to bring them back?
Yeah, I believe so. I just have lost that. Okay, here we go. They have 1 more minute. Whoops. It looks like most of them have finished, so that's good. Welcome back to everybody as you're coming back. We have about 20 seconds left, and then we'll go ahead and read our silly Mad Lib. All right, welcome everybody. Okay, so my hope is that even though I forgot to say it, you guys are great readers, and somebody noticed that we're looking for a speaker from each group. So could somebody from the green team, breakout room 1, go ahead and read us the first 2 sentences with your part in it? So you can go ahead and unmute yourself, whoever that speaker is.
I don't know if I'm supposed to be the speaker, but I'll do it now.
Sounds great.
I was a typer. Okay. A vacation is when you take a trip to some gorgeous place with your chaotic family. All right. That's pretty accurate. Usually you go to some place that is near a tree or up on a bird.
Good, nice. Red team, breakout room number 2.
I don't think we actually chose anyone, so this is Jackie Booth. I'll just jump in.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, actually, I can't jump in because I don't have the list.
Oh,
Who made our list?
I got you, Jackie.
Sorry. Thank
Hey.
you.
thank you, Nicole.
A good vacation place is one where you can ride cows or play horseshoes or go hunting for fences. I like to spend my time laughing or dancing.
That is great. I love it. Thank you. And the yellow team, breakout room number 3.
When parents go on a vacation, they spend their time eating 3 monkeys a day, and fathers play golf, and mothers sit around walking. Last summer, my little brother fell in a brook and got poison cactus all over his arm.
Wonderful. And the blue team, breakout number 3.
Okay, so my family is going to go to the beach and I will practice running. Parents need vacation more than kids because parents are always very sleepy and because they have to work 9 hours every day all year, making enough bananas to pay for the vacation. I mean, I think we nailed it.
That's perfect. Oh.
Thank you for humoring us today. And there is a reason why we engaged in some humor today.
Yeah, so thank you for joining us in this silly moment. Let's take a moment to just note the science behind the silly, that the human mind cannot make a distinction between simulated and spontaneous laughter. Oh, sorry, while the human mind can make the distinction, the body cannot. So let me make that clear again. The human mind can make a distinction between the two, but your body cannot. It does not know whether it's simulated or spontaneous laughter. So either way, you're going to have the same health-related outcomes. You can check out those resources there for more on health benefits of simulated laughter. And we're going to now introduce ourselves to you in case you don't know who we are. Hopefully you do by now. I'm Sayward Grindley. I am your dance and visual arts consultant for DPI. And Brandon, you just heard from, my Arts Ed team member, is your music and visual arts consultant. He and I work very closely together as a team on all 4 arts areas. and like to include each other on all the work that we do. So feel free to copy us both whenever you reach out to us. And we may or may not have been referred to as on several occasions as the Regis and Kathy Lee of arts education. So also, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our wonderful section chief for social studies and arts education and former theater educator, Dr. Lori Major Carlin.
Good afternoon.
Thanks, Lori. So our agenda, really quickly, we are going to talk through a few things today very quickly. And of course, if you have any questions, we will stick around at the end if we don't get to all of your questions throughout. We will talk about 3 signature practices from CASEL's point of view, accessing federal funding for arts education. We will also talk about our new Arts Ed Administrator Guides, the Arts Ed Course Manual, and of course, our upcoming professional development and plans, as well as the new arts education graduation requirement timeline. Right, I'm going to turn things over to Brandon.
Great. So it's just a wonderful thing to remind ourselves that North Carolina Public Schools serves nearly 1.55 million students in 2,500 public schools across 386 public school units. And in those schools, we have over 7,000 teachers in the 4 arts areas. We're also happy to share of the almost 1 year now legislated arts high school graduation requirement. And for the first time ever, students in North Carolina will experience the arts starting with those students entering grade 6 in 2022. And as Sayward said, we'll talk about that a little bit later. In North Carolina, we teach within the Comprehensive Arts Education Framework, and these 3 components of the CAE are independent and were found by the Comprehensive Arts Education Task Force to be completely necessary. We encourage all arts education programs to look for art opportunities to partner with their local organizations to bring arts education, arts integration, and arts exposure to authentic practices to all of their students, even in the virtual setting. All right. We wanted to just bring these to your attention. All of these images are hyperlinked to our series. Again, you can access the slide deck with the bit.ly link down at the bottom. But we have a great selection of professional development available. I believe it's over 50 hours, approximately 50 hours professional development that we've created this year. If you are interested in learning more about any of these topics, please come back at your leisure and learn more about those things. I will let you know that this summer we are planning to go through and package them or pull out the kind of most relevant webinars for new teachers and put together some new teacher toolkits through these webinars as well. All right, Sayward is going to take it over since she is the 3 signature practices expert and teach you all about these great practices.
Thanks, Brandon. So hopefully you all know by now that North Carolina has joined the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or CASEL, for implementing the Social Emotional Learning Plan for our state. Can anyone name all 5 of these SEL competencies in the chat? Go ahead and name any of them that you can think of and just share. So we'll talk more about that in a moment, but you can learn more about that North Carolina SEL implementation team, which is a team made up of members from DPI and other areas to put together an implementation plan and timeline. And all of that is on the website linked here, the implementation team website. You can also go to the CASEL website directly to learn more about the benefits of SEL and why it's important in both our school and work environments. These skills really collectively help teachers and students to develop healthy identities, manage their emotions, achieve personal and collective goals, and feel and show empathy for others. So there's a really great, I see lots of great things. Self-awareness, self-management. There's 3 more: social awareness, relationship skills, and the last one, yes, responsible decision making. Awesome. So there are 3 signature practices. On the next page, we will be talking about these. One of the main things that we're doing as an agency in implementing these 5 core competencies is to implement the Castle's 3 signature practices into our workplace and meetings. And it's a great place for you all to start as well with your meetings and your teachers and your school settings. Can anyone name the 3 signature practices of Castle and what those might be? So there are 3 things that we always want to include in our structure. And one
Somebody
of them,
got one.
oh, awesome. Optimistic closure. That's fantastic. One of them we actually already did.
Yeah.
So we started with a welcoming or inclusion activity. And then you want to end with optimistic closures. But in the middle, we're talking about engaging pedagogy or engaging practices to keep the meeting going. You will be experiencing examples of these throughout our meeting today. This is a great place that you can easily start by introducing these concepts and structures into your team meetings with arts educators, faculty meetings, as well as your classroom structure itself. You may already be doing some of this or all of it, but these resources will give you more ideas on how to bring more awareness and intentionality to these 3 signature practices and how they'll help really solidify a healthy environment for your students and your teachers. There's a playbook here with examples and ideas for you to adapt in your own classes and meetings, as well as more info on creating conditions for student learning and adult learning. So we've been doing a lot of that in our self-care series this summer and in our professional development learning as well. There's another video webinar that we highly recommend that's led by our Castle lead, Beth Rice, for you to go into more depth about these practices. If you're worried about where to start with SEL, this is really the easiest entry point for many people. So on this next page, we're going to take a moment to look and answer a question that's directly taken from the implementation team's FAQ page. It is, what are the 3 signature practices and what is their purpose? So share a word in the chat right now as you read this definition that stands out to you. So that it can be one word or a phrase of words that stands out to you as you read this definition. Great, I see consistency, safety, carefully chosen, thoughtfully debriefed. What else stands out to you as you're reading this? Safety, again, nice. Joy, joy, awesome. Growth, solid foundation. Great. These are all very important, and it's nice to see that everybody is getting different things out of this definition, growth and joy. The 3 signature practices, when used daily and routinely and are carefully chosen, effectively facilitated, and thoughtfully debriefed, create a solid foundation of safety, consistency, and joy. And that's both in adult and student environments. It really helps students to build self-awareness and relationship skills through noticing and naming feelings, as well as what others are feeling. They teach self-management and relationship building through the practice of interaction with other people and with their content. They bring both a soothing sense of security and normalcy to students' routines, but also a freshness and novelty with new information and interaction with people and content. And on this next slide, there's just some few general examples of each of these 3 signature practices and how you might see them in the classroom setting. They're things that you may already be doing. So just take a moment and glance through this, look at the examples. What is something that you might already be doing in your own meetings or your own classrooms that might fall under one of these categories? So you can share in the chat if there's anything that you resonate with that you might already be doing, or something that you'd like to try to do. Just anything that stands out to you that you're seeing. Welcoming rituals establish safety and predictability, a sense of belonging with set norms and respectful listening. Engaging pedagogy includes brain breaks and sense making throughout the lesson and fosters relationship skills and respect. Optimistic closure is how we end our session together. Ending with reflection or discussing something that we're looking forward to provides a sense of closure and leaves students or teachers with a positive, optimistic note. As a performer, I used to say that the audience will most likely remember the very last thing they saw you do, so make sure it's a good one and leave them wanting more. Opportunities for interaction, Christy says, awesome. Building relationships among arts teachers, opening discussions as students arrive. I do now daily and definitely a brain break. Awesome. Opportunities for interaction and not in the classroom anymore, but I use brain breaks and group discussions in our art teacher meetings. Fantastic.
I think that's a really good point as well, is that these three signature practices go for classrooms, but they also go for all of our interactions with other adults as well, which is why we are trying to implement them in all of our meetings as well.
And there's a deeper dive there if you want to go deeper into these three signature practices. That was created by Beth Rice as well, and you can go into more depth and learn more with example tasks. So we're going to take just a minute to let you look through the three signature practices playbook. It says 3 minutes, but let's see if we can narrow it and do maybe 60 or 90 seconds. Just on your own independent time, glance through and find anything that stands out to you. We're going to be looking for three things. T, Q, E. So T can be thoughts or takeaways that stand out to you quickly, a question that you might have, or an epiphany. So you can look for one or all three of those things, just as you glance over quickly what stands out to you first. All right, excellent. Hopefully you had a chance to just glance through that playbook very quickly and just mention in the chat either a thought, a question, or an epiphany. And you can put a T, a Q, or an E so we know which one of those it might be. And Brandon, you can move to that next slide there. Great, so share in the chat any of those things from your three signature practices playbook. Thought, the addition of strategies is a good idea. Great. Takeaway, user-friendly lessons. Nice. Another T, so many activities already created. Those of us who are nervous about implementation are already prepared. Yeah, there's so much there for you that you don't have to think and create something new. Just pull one out. Examples and templates, equitable practices, autonomy, belonging, competency. Fantastic. Organized and user-friendly activities, like how the ink is added to think, pair, share. A lot of welcoming activities could be modified to fit specific topics or subject areas to make them even more relevant to classes or meetings. That's a key right there. Using these welcoming activities as a chance to enter into the lesson and relate to the content is a great way to get those students engaged right away. The need to be valued and how people feel valued differently and needing to know our students and know our colleagues. Great. Short and engaging. Yes. Fantastic. Very approachable goals given the examples are simple structure setup. Awesome. Thank you. We're going to move on now to our next note on the agenda with Brandon.
All right. So we wanted to make everyone aware of the fact that the ESSER funds that are available to everyone to school districts are definitely available to everyone in arts education. We are putting together a webinar next Thursday, and we really hope that everybody will participate in it. And I'm going to pass this off to Nate McGachy real fast so that he can speak to you a little bit more coherently and knowledgeably than I can. Go for it, Nate.
Thank you very much, Brandon, and thank you all for having me. I just wanted to pop on for a few minutes to ask you to, first of all, to encourage everyone to make sure you come to this webinar. It's going to be incredibly important. There is $122 billion from ARP, from ESSER 3 funding. Over $3 billion of that is going to school districts right here in North Carolina, and that is billion with a B. There are tons of funding here. And I want to make sure that everybody is making this a priority and not just and not to throw everything aside and to stop worrying about every other part of your job, but to recognize. I was thinking about this earlier today. About 25 years ago, Bill Clinton famously said the era of big government. And I think what we're seeing right now, and I want everybody to kind of take away, is that the era of big government is now over. We are seeing a very large amount of federal dollars that are accessible through both through legislators, but also through school systems. So this is not necessarily even about having conversation with elected officials so much as it is about advocating for your programs, and getting your foot in the door and having a conversation about how arts education can help students in a way that allows them, and how accessing these funds can allow you to do that work better. I know I want everyone to please, just as a really easy way to kind of dive into this, hit at some point in the near future, go to artsnc.org. Please sign up for my email list. I am trying to put out as much ESSER information as I possibly can. If it, scan my emails, I make it really quick and easy to see whether or not it's going to be dealing with ESSER or arts education or some other arts nonprofit issue. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to click on, there's a blog post right on the homepage of artsnc.org with some easy steps written by our own James Daughtery, who reached out to his superintendent and got the Arts Our Education resolution passed. This isn't ESSER, but this is just good advocacy. And also know that we are working on sort of reimagining and updating the website artsednc.org. So we're going to be trying to get some information specific to arts education and arts education advocacy over the coming weeks and months. So yes, many people have already submitted ESSER plans, but that doesn't mean that that's over. It doesn't mean, well, oh, ESSER is done, I missed the boat, forget about it. I'm encouraging you, I'm imploring you, and I'm begging you, those plans are vague, you still have access points. We're going to talk about the 15 uses for ESSER, or someone will be discussing that in the funding or in the webinar next week. The federal government could very well be operating in new ways for years, if not decades to come. So engaging with your school board, engaging with your superintendent, having a conversation with the federal funds coordinator within your district, just to have those conversations, just to get a seat at the table, or just to get a coffee or whatever it takes, could have long lasting ramifications for the future of your arts education programs for a really long time. So you haven't missed the boat. please come to the ESSER webinar next week and continue to stay engaged with Arts NC as well as other avenues. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much, Nate. I appreciate that. Yeah, next week we have a speaker lineup that includes Lynn Tuttle, who is the Director of Public Policy Research and Professional Development for NAFME, which is the National Association for Music Education, along with those who are managing the ESSER funds at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. Our panelists will include 4 different North Carolina LEA representatives, and they're going to be sharing how their district is using ESSER funds to support comprehensive arts education in North Carolina. And if you are one of those public school units who is leading the charge on how to use ESSER 3 funding in arts education and would like to participate in that panel, please give me a holler, and or as soon as possible, you can send me an email so that we can organize that. And yeah, so that's what I have there. Please make sure that you go ahead and share what questions you have in the chat about ESSER funding, and we will try or make every effort to be able to answer them at that webinar next week. All right, I'm going to pass. Sorry,
and I'm going to add real quick to that is that please share amongst yourselves as you've got great examples of this work, because one of the most powerful tools to getting funding is showing great examples of how other people have used that funding. So collective think is a huge bonus. So anyway, I want to say thank you all for the amazing work you do and for letting me yammer at you for a bit. I got to hop off to another call. So thank you.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
All right, well, we're going to pass this off to Lori now for the long-awaited. Oh, you're right. Long-awaited Arts Ed Administrator Guides.
Awesome, thank you. So really quickly, these Arts Ed Administrator Guides are a quick tool for administrators as a look for in order to assist with overseeing their arts programs and teacher evaluations. There's an overview of arts education programs, what they might look like, and include as a quick reference, especially helpful for those who may not have a ton of arts experience themselves. It tells them info about the structure and goals of the Arts Ed Essential Standards, as well as the comprehensive arts education model, with best practices aligned with the NCDPI's teacher evaluation instrument and what those might look like in an arts classroom. So again, this is especially helpful for administrators that may not necessarily know or have as much arts experience themselves. We hope that these will help principals and other K-12 administrators know what to look for in their programs and when evaluating their arts educators. We will be posting these under the resources on our website so that teachers and administrators can utilize them when writing their own professional development plan goals in the fall, as well as throughout the year for observations. We'll take just 1 minute for you to do a quick look over for yourself and go through these and glance over them. It's only a few pages long. So again, look for a T, Q, or an E, a thought or takeaway, a question, or an epiphany that you can share in the chat upon just brief glance over these administrator guides. We'd love to hear from you. So 60 seconds, very quickly. Yes, we can share them. Is that correct, Brandon? We can go ahead and share them with principals. Yep, go ahead and share with principals, administrators, anyone you want. Good. Okay. And you can go ahead and share either a T, Q, or E in the chat quickly. We see Ricky shared she loves how concise it is. It makes her feel like folks will be more likely to read it. Yes. And Lydia shared that she's excited that the administrator guides ended up aligned with the NCDPI, and it's a great idea.
Yep, that was actually the entire purpose of it.
Yep. And Christine, that an administrator could carry it right in the room with them while they do the evaluation and write on it then. Fantastic.
Yeah, we wanted to provide space for both commendations and recommendations for areas of growth and deltas on the form so that administrators and teachers can see what they're doing well and where they can grow.
All right, good. So if there's anything else that comes rolling in, you're welcome to share that again, but we're going to move right along and pass the baton over to Lori to talk about the Arts Education Course Manual.
Good evening, afternoon, whatever it is, everyone. And I noticed that we are a little bit over our time so far. So I'm going to cover this pretty rapidly because it is not new information. I cannot stress that enough. This is the same exact information that has always existed in in a number of different areas. And the team brought it all together to one clear document that can be shared with your data managers, principals, teachers. And this is really, really important moving forward as we talk about the graduation requirement. So all the relevant information pertaining to the courses in K-12 dance, music, theater arts, and visual arts are in this document. You'll find the correct course codes, information about Arts Ed licensure, course progression ideas, and information about the arts education graduation requirement. So all of those very important pieces will be in there. And I believe that there is some independent discovery time for you to go in and take a look.
Yes, so take another 60 seconds and just glance through this course manual. Look over it, see if you understand how it's laid out, where everything is. Again, this is not new information, but just seeing, what you maybe learned from this, or is this a resource that you might share with someone? And again, any of those thoughts, questions, or epiphanies that come to you while you're glancing over it will take just about a little less than 60 seconds here. Good, Christy. I have hunted down this information for our data managers many times. It will be nice to have a streamlined document to share. That is the goal. Great. And you will have some time to come back to these documents if you wish, and we hope that you hang on to them and again, share widely. So we're going to go ahead and move forward and pass it over to Brandon to talk. Oh, actually, Lori's going to talk first a little bit about our upcoming professional development.
I am. Really, I'm just going to be sharing with you that as an agency, we have been advised that our Facebook presence is no longer supported or allowed. And so unfortunately, we know that a lot of our friends were finding us there and getting great information from those sites. So we're just going to transition. We look for any advice you may have about how to connect with the field. Still, the most important thing is going to be our listserv. And making sure that any new teachers who are hired over the summer get an opportunity to get on that listserv. But our webinars will be streamed on YouTube. So you can always find us there. And of course, we keep all of those links fresh on the website so that if people need to find them through the DPI Google site, you can get to anything we've done there. But again, you're not going crazy. We are no longer on Facebook, and we will not be for the foreseeable future.
Thank you so much, Lori. So with that note, In response to overwhelming exhaustion from the field, NCDPI's Division of Standards Curriculum and Instruction, or SCNI, presents its greatest hits this summer. So we will be relaunching some of your favorites. This is an opportunity to catch up on professional development that educators may have missed over the last year. And so you can spend your summer catching up on some of those amazing webinars that have come out in all of the various content areas. We have put out, I believe Brandon and I calculated it was over 40 hours of professional development this year. So you can go back and revisit all of that. If anybody missed it, they can still make that up and get those CEUs now by doing them this summer. Direct webinar recording links, materials, and survey links for those CEUs are included within that greatest hits series. So part of that, we will also be including our self-care series, which we just wrapped up. So our most recent series, we finished, I believe, last week, will be part of this greatest hits. Take a look here to see some of the wonderful sessions that we had. They're very valuable to your teachers and to you. We highly recommend checking them out if you didn't get a chance yet. These were really great sessions for teachers already, and they're wonderful for them to do over the summer when they have a little bit of time and probably when they'll need it the most. They strive to remind teachers that the arts are a really great way to tap into their own self-care needs and remind them that that's how we tend to take care of ourselves as artists and arts educators. And so it's just a great reminder for them, and also addresses how the concepts that they learn in the sessions can be translated into the classroom as well. If you can only watch one of them, we definitely suggest starting with Teach Happier, as it's really applicable to anyone in their life, not just for teachers. But it really kind of summarizes that we can't have happy kids if we don't have happy teachers. So we really have to work on ourselves and pay attention to ourselves right now. And the summer is a great place to do that. All right, Brandon.
All right, so even though the field asked SCNI to replay their greatest hits, we can't help ourselves. We wanted to give teachers an opportunity to reflect on the lessons they've learned this past year, and also assist in charting a course for those who would like a thought partner in the coming year. So we'll be holding two very loosely structured office hours sort of things over the summer. One is going to be at the end of the school year for those looking back, and one will be at the beginning of August for those looking forward to the coming school year. We'll start with some of those self-care activities for some refreshment, and then segue into reflection activities that lead teachers in thoughtful critique on the teaching that they did and how to best apply their success to the coming school year. Now we want to hear from you. So Sayward is going to drop into the chat a survey link. If you had a magic wand, I stole this from our friends over in dual language immersion program. If you had a magic wand and you could get the perfect professional development for your arts education teachers from us, what topics would you like to see us provide? So if you can take a moment right now to go ahead and open up the survey and type anything that you're thinking of that you would like to see us do, that would be very helpful. You know, we always include at the end of all of our surveys, what other topics would you like to see? And we get those from the field, and those have informed our series that we've given this year. But we'd love to hear from the directors and the coordinators at the LEA level what they would like to see. Oh no, okay, let me change that setting very quickly.
Thank you for letting us know that, everyone. So take a moment while we're getting those settings fixed to just think about what you might want to write in there. And if you find out some more things from your teachers or from the field that you want to share with us later, and that even if you've already submitted this survey, you can still reach out to us and send us an email with that information. We love to hear it, and we really take all of this to heart in planning all of our sessions. We want to do what you need, and so your suggestions are what guide us.
All right, it should be set at this point. You may need to refresh your page in order for it to take effect. Please let us know if it does or does not.
All right, we're going to hand things over to Lori to talk about the arts education graduation requirement.
And I know that you are all on mute, but you are applauding and you're so excited. And this is such a wonderful, wonderful thing. We're thrilled to be talking about this arts education graduation requirement as a real thing now. I remember back when I was in the classroom, I know you guys have heard me say it before, that it was something that we were wary of. And now the way that it has fleshed out, we're so excited and think that it's really going to be a wonderful opportunity for you guys to help celebrate your teachers and your programs, and really start talking about arts education in a different way. So you can see this graduation arts ed grad requirement timeline. We have a working group established to ensure that every student's completion of the arts education graduation requirement will be tracked through course codes in PowerSchool. It'll be a part of their graduation plan. Students can complete this graduation requirement at any time between grades 6 through 12. Again, 6 through 12. So 90 some, I think we calculated at some point that a huge portion of our students already get this between 6 to 8. But it's really important that we can, just add this to part of the conversation about arts education. It is important to note that only those courses with officially recognized course codes that start with a 5 will be automatically tracked in PowerSchool. So there are lots of local options that might not be automatically tracked. So you need to make sure that you're just aware of those things. The courses that are tracked as 5s are arts only courses, meaning that if you have a middle school wheel that includes arts classes and technology, PE, world languages, or anything that isn't an arts class, a wheel will not count. But a wheel that is specific to arts education, if it's visual arts and band and dance and theater in a wheel, then that would satisfy the requirement using the 5-7 general arts elective course code. So please take a look at that. Let us know if you have questions about what that timeline looks like. It seems like it's far away, but we have to, get everything in order right now so that we make sure to have that as part of the graduation plan for those students.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori. I can't stress how important it is for everybody to ensure that their schools are all using the right course codes. We've had some problems recently with the school report card not properly reporting what arts programs are at schools because schools are using codes that begin with 9, which is a miscellaneous bin, instead of codes that begin with a 5, which it becomes quickly an impossible task to look for arts courses if they're not coded properly. So please let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise the course handbook will explain all of that. All right. Say, take it away.
Yeah, so we are going to go back into some breakout groups. You will get to choose which group you want to be a part of. So you'll go back through one of those 3 resources that we shared earlier and dive a little deeper and actually discuss within your group. You might start by sharing some of your own T, Q, or E's that you talked about earlier, just to get the conversation started, but you don't have to stay on that topic. You can continue with who you might share the document with, or how, how you might see using it or how it would be helpful in the future, but really allow the conversation to flow naturally. If it starts to talk about another document, then that's okay as well. Just allow yourselves a moment to have some conversation with each other and some fellowship time that you can really share and dive deeper into one of these resources. You'll choose a speaker that will come back and share some highlights of your conversation when we come back. It's not a test. We just want to have some highlights of what was great about your conversation and what did you get from it. So you'll pick either the course manual, the administrator guides, or the 3 signature practices playbook to go back into a little bit deeper with your breakout group members. No, the breakout rooms are not being recorded. So you can share, have conversation, and then come back with one person to just give us a little highlight, a little brief summary. All right. Brandon's gonna get those breakout rooms started. Tell us.
They should be ready. If you can click on your participant tab, you should have two tabs, one that says main meeting and one that says breakout sessions. And if you click on breakout sessions, you can choose which session to join. Does everybody see that? That's what I see. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
at the very, very top of your computer, there's like WebEx meetings, file, edit, share, all the way. And you go to past participant and meeting, then there should be breakout sessions. And then you'll scroll down to join breakout session. There's an arrow and you can choose 3 signature practices, administrator guides, or course manual.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. This is the first time we're doing this. James, thank you for being with us. Have a great next meeting. I feel like we need some elevator music now. If anybody who is still in here needs any help with how to get to the breakout session, please just let us know. Because I'm also able to assign you them. Sarah, can you remind me when we're pulling into the share session?
Yes, I had it estimated about right now, but if we need another, oh, it'll give them 60 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now pull them out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Are you good facilitating this next slide?
Yeah, I'm fine. It looks like there's only one person that went into 3 signature practices, so we'll just ask her if she feels comfortable sharing. But if she doesn't, that's fine.
Why don't we go ahead and limit it to like 3 or 4 things? For
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. Just to highlight, maybe like 2 favorite.
Cool.
Okay. All right, welcome back, everyone. So I know one of our groups was fairly small, but let's hopefully your speaker can limit it to about 2 of your favorite things, just brief highlights. Let's see, and I think our first session on 3 signature practices was Kimberly. Do you want to share anything, Kimberly, that you found on your own? You're welcome to unmute if you would like. If not, okay, we will move on to the second group, which was the administrator guides. Do we have a representative from that group who would like to share?
I'm happy to talk a little bit. This is Jackie Booth.
Hi.
Excellent.
Hey, we mentioned that this was a really hard struggle to get here. You know, to get to where we had this guide. For me, I am dealing with some administrative changes up above with superintendents and things like that. And they're not as interested in listening to arts right now, but having documents like this that are really solid and can lead back to topics that they are interested in gets my foot in the door. Which is really, really useful. And then we also had a couple of members in our group that were very new to their positions and did not come from arts backgrounds. So any kind of help like this that is really like simple, straightforward, a piece of paper you can pick up and take with you is super helpful for our new folks too. I know there's a lot of coordinators that either don't come from arts or they're doing multiple PE and arts and, you know, whatever in their jobs. So having simple things like this that help us multitask back and forth between those subjects is also super useful.
Fantastic. Yes, so we built a lot of that framework off of the world languages team, and they did something similar. And so that's where a lot of it has come from. And so we really appreciate them kind of setting that model for us, and then we've followed through. So we really appreciate that feedback, Jackie, and that whole group. So that was our goal and our hope to make things a little bit easier and a little bit more streamlined and simple for everyone. Fantastic. Does anyone from the third group like to share some highlights from your group, the course manual?
We just waxed poetic. We were excited about it and all the neat things that were in it.
That's great. Again, there's nothing new in it, but I will say that I went to the dark recesses of my Google Drive that has been shared with me to go find some of those things. So that's great.
Awesome. So to wrap things up just a little bit, we're going to end with an optimistic closure. So see if you can figure out how to fill in this blank. Fill it in and share that in the chat, what you think the answer might be. Blank acts of kindness. And if you attended our Teach Happier session, you might already know. That's great. Awesome. Okay, so yes, it's not random acts of kindness, it's conscious acts of kindness. So rather than random, how can we be intentional about sending kindness out into the world? How do we make clear, actionable decisions and commit to acts of kindness so that they're not random, but we are making a clear, conscious decision? They're active decisions that we make that we're going to send kindness out. What is an intentional act of kindness that you have either done or you've experienced from someone else and been on the receiving end, or perhaps something you can plan to do now moving forward? So mention one of those things in the chat, either something that you've experienced yourself from someone else, something you've sent out into the world, or something you can plan to do now. And will you be willing to commit to yourself that you will be intentional about acts of kindness rather than waiting for them to be random? So feel free to share in the chat one of those acts of kindness you've either experienced, you've done, or that you could do. affirmation for works done behind the scenes that almost no one knows about. Yes. Specifically naming to others why I'm thankful for them. I always try to pick the most ridiculous GIF, whichever one that is, to go with my text to make people laugh and smile. Also from the Teach Happier webinar, I did this 2 days ago. Put little cards that open with a quote about being awesome in the bathroom stalls at the county office. That's awesome. The other theater teacher at my school took kiddos today so I could attend this meeting. Great. Post Florence, when my in-laws were flooded, 2 members of my specials team came and cleaned my yard for me because we all spent our time with my in-laws. That's fantastic. Specifically naming folks that have helped me make decisions or give us ideas. Definitely helping out and having each other's back is important. Fantastic. So this is all really wonderful, and I hope that you will send out more conscious acts of kindness and be mindful and aware of the conscious acts of kindness that other people are doing for you as well.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today, and for the great feedback on the structure of the meeting. We wanted it to feel like we were still in a room together, even though it's been a really, really long time since we've done that. So in the chat here, we have the survey. Even if you are not looking for CEUs, we do ask that you fill out the survey to give us some feedback. You will automatically receive a CEU certificate by putting your email address into the form, which is a required question. But we do ask that everybody go ahead and fill out the survey so that we can be the best arts education team for you that we can. Again, on this slide here are just all of our contact information. These images are all hyperlinked to different ways to get a hold of us, and please make sure that you are attached to our listserv, because it is definitely the best way to stay informed. And we hope to see you all next week at the ESSER webinar, technically called Accessing Federal Funding for Arts Education. We will touch briefly, very briefly, on the way that we can also utilize Title IV Part A funds, especially if a lot of those things are being used or earmarked for ESSER 3 funding. We might have a bigger crack at those funds this year. So
thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. We'll stick around if you have any other further questions. But again, enjoy the rest of your afternoon and have a great weekend too.
If there is anyone still here, I have a question about band. I'm just trying to get an idea of who's going into next year using masks and bell covers, if you are using them. That's just a really practical thing for me because our district is requiring them, and my teachers are having a fit about that. So I was just wondering if anyone else in the chat or anywhere, if you're still here, or Brandon, if you've heard anything across the districts, any kind of info I can take back with me to the negotiating table would be useful.
What I know is that DHHS still recommends the masking of instruments, and that is our official stance as part of state government.
Cool.
May I speak?
Yeah, Jackie, Lydia. We can barely hear you. If you,
I know my microphone's screwed up. Who is asking the question? What county?
This is Jackie Booth from Wilmington.
Jackie, tell your band directors to sit down, have a Coke and a smile, because I really don't think this is going to change. And even if NCDHHS changed, I don't think my superintendent would change. You know what I'm saying?